So we're going to take a look at Revelation chapter number 20, starting at verse 1. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding the key of the abyss and a great chain in his hand. Now remember that key to the abyss was in the hands of the devil. So this angel, this good angel, has taken it off the hands of the devil, because the devil released some things from the abyss to torture and torment people. But his time is coming. The angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand a key to the abyss, or the pit, a great chain. Okay? Now, just as he laid hold of the dragon, here comes the different names for our enemy: the dragon, the serpent of old, the devil, Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. Now that's the millennium that will occur just before the creation of the new heavens and the new earth. The devil will be bound, chained, held prisoner for 1,000 years. Now this puzzled me for a while. Only for a while did it puzzle me. But then I remembered a video I had done previously about the medieval age. The medieval age is approximately 1,000 years. And if my thinking is correct, the medieval age never existed. So I have to take you back to two pieces of evidence on that I did. And one was the Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, authored by Samuel Clemens, otherwise known as Mark Twain, who was a high-ranking Mason who will serve as President Rutherford B. Hayes. Rutherford B. Hayes is Samuel Clemens. Mark Twain is just another character playing the role of President of the United States. It's that simple. All presidents. Okay, that was me on the channel that I have and still up. It's called Who is Who in Hoaxology. Who is Who in Hoaxology. I'm probably going to leave that up because it will unmask many of the hoaxers. All right. Now the other piece of evidence that I used in regards to Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Clemens, it's his book, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, whereby a dude is struck on the head and he moves from the 1800s in a factory to the day and age of King Arthur. He's struck on the head. That's what Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, told us, when you're struck on the head, you will go to the court of King Arthur and his knights in the Round Table. Basically, what I'm saying is the medieval age never existed. And it makes perfect sense with the author Cervantes, who gave us, by the way, it's one of my favorite books, favorite things to think about, is the bumbling knight Don Quixote. Now, Cervantes was telling us that the medieval age never occurred by his novel Don Quixote. Now, another piece of evidence, and I don't have a chart to show you, but you could put it up yourself, is that let's say the fall of the Roman Empire is approximately 500 AD. And if you take from the fall of the Roman Empire to the Renaissance at about 1500 AD, the Renaissance means rebirth. And they rebirthed the classics of Greece and Rome, so that for approximately 1,000 years, the classics of Greece, and Rome didn't have any impact anywhere. And then all of a sudden, in the period called Renaissance, all these writings reemerge, and they want to be studied. Now, I'm going to say it didn't need a rebirth because they never went away, because the 1,000-year period just never happened. You don't have people putting on hunks of metal like Cervantes created in the Night of Don Quixote, putting on these hunks of metal and going out and fighting. And there's people that reenact this too, and they put on hunks of metal and go out and bang each other up pretty severely sometimes. I actually have seen it with my own eyes, the reenactors. So what I'm going to do is bring it back here to the devil and the 1,000-year period. Now, we are told in the writing of the Apostle John in the book of Revelation, in the 20th chapter, that the devil, the serpent of old, the dragon, Satan, will be bound. Those are all just different titles for the evil one, who originally started out as Lucifer, shining one, in heaven, Isaiah 14, who rebels against God and is cast out of heaven, becomes an enemy of God and God's people. Now, how does this tie in to the 1,000 years? I'm just scrolling that verse for you. Well, basically, he will be bound and shut in and shut up and powerless for this period of 1,000 years. The devil, the serpent of old. So what I'm thinking is, because the devil knows that this will take place, the 1,000-year reign of Christ on the earth, before the new heavens and the new earth, before eternity becomes completely in order before the completion, before the end of this age and the beginning of the age to come, or the new age, or the new world order. There will be this millennium. Now I think, again, this is just my thoughts, so you can't necessarily get too worked up with me if you don't agree. That's okay, you don't have to agree. But I think that the devil inspired the Masons to make up the entire period called the Middle Ages or medieval times. Why? Because that's the 1,000 years that the devil won't have on this earth. Now also we're told in Revelation 20 that the devil has the knowledge that his time is short and his days are numbered. So because he knows that his time is short and his days are numbered, he basically took 1,000 years of made-up time. Now once again, the three pieces of evidence I submit for the fact that the medieval age has never happened are, first of all, the novel Don Quixote telling us how idiotic it is. People running around with a bunch of metal on them. They could dehydrate in it. They could freeze to death in it. How can they do battle in it? It's nonsense. All right, now the other piece of evidence I gave you was that Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain, on the left there, and Rutherford B. Hayes on the right, President Rutherford, they're the same. In other words, Samuel Clemens was a high-ranking Mason in on the Cabal system, and he wrote a novel to tell us about the lie of the medieval age period. Then the third piece of evidence I submitted to you is the fact that if you remove the Middle Ages, there is no renaissance or rebirth of the classics. They never disappeared. Why would all of a sudden, after approximately 1,000 years, people decide, oh, I want to go and reread the Greek and Roman classics? Why? 1,000 years of darkness. They also called it the Dark Ages, the medieval time. Well, why was it the Dark Ages? Because it was a bunch of BS. Well, you may not agree with it, and that's okay. I'm not necessarily looking for people to agree all the time, but I am looking to promote the Bible and biblical truth. Whether you agree with the fact that I told you the devil inspired the Masons to make that up about the Middle Ages or not is irrelevant, because the truth of the matter is the Holy Scriptures tell you in Revelation chapter 20 verse 1 and 2 that an angel is going to come down with a key to an abyss, and that one that we know as the dragon or the serpent, the old serpent of old, the devil, Satan, will be locked up and bound for a 1,000-year period. Now you can hasten this if you like by using the name of Jesus, by binding the demons and the devil's powers in your life. Just take the name of Jesus and speak to these evil powers and bind them through the name of Christ, because their ultimate end is the same as the serpent of old, bound. And then after being bound for 1,000 years in an abyss, the devil and all his minions will be thrown into a lake of fire and be tormented forever and ever. So the good news of the gospel is that Christ came to destroy the works of the devil. The works have been basically already destroyed, and his destruction is yet to come. But you do have the power through the name of Jesus to do essentially what this angel is doing, binding the work of the devil and the demons and the powers and principalities, using the name that is above all names, the name of Jesus. You bind them. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and this concludes the video.